Hello, boys and girls. My name is Yoshi, and you're watching my 100% walkthrough of Metroid Prime Remastered for Nintendo Switch 2. Well, more like the Switch 1 version, but we're playing this on the Switch 2. I need to make sure this works fine. Yeah, okay, it is. It sounded weird, I thought, for a second, but anyway. In the last video, we left off getting the space jump boots, which is why we're able to jump high. We also got this here boost ball. And the first thing we're going to do is finish something I probably should have done a little bit later before, but now I'm going to do it, and that's go to the Artifact Temple for the first time. This is actually the main goal of the game, is to go here after you've collected all the artifacts. The main reason we're going here, though, is to get 2 chosen lilies and our first artifact. We can also see where the artifacts are if we choose to do so. I, however, will not be showing that because it's not actually required to scan these to beat the game. If you happen to collect them, you won't miss anything either. You do need to collect this first artifact here, though, before you can even scan anything. So, we'll get this, which is Artifact Troop First of 12. Scan the totems here for clues of remaining artifacts. Together, your artifacts will open a path to the center of the impact crater. As you might have noticed, this is our main objective now, besides collecting power-ups. And that is to get all the 12 artifacts, which requires to get quite a few items to do so. And yeah, until then, we will not be back here for quite some time. I wanted to wait until I got the boost ball because that's usually the ideal time to come here. I know it's not required to enter here until the very end of the game, but I like to do this just so I'm not paranoid and like miss something. Because that over there, that's also a pirate data. That's very easy to miss. I think I missed that the last time as well. Alright. Now, obviously, we need to do, like, our next main thing, which is to actually go all the way back, really, the way we came. So, yeah, previously, we had gone over to Fenandra Drifts to get the wave. Hang on, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. The boost ball. But now we have to go back over there, because we had to backtrack originally to get the space jump boots, because they were basically a requirement to go, or there's no reason not to get them, honestly. Okay, for some reason he doesn't want to do anything. Sometimes they'll fight right away, and other times those powers will just sit there and do nothing for some reason. Don't know what causes them to do that, but whatever, I'll take it. Less people to fight. Alright. So, we're gonna go here. Just a fair warning, though, this next fight, when we do get back to it, is fine. Also, in case you haven't noticed, I am not going to be skipping the backtracking, just so you guys can see how long it takes to get through this. This might be the more boring section of the run, because there's not really a good way to do this fast. You kind of are just forced to do this back and forth between this one area quite a few times just to get through it. This one's faster, to just boost ball through the gap. You could probably use ball and roll on too, but I won't be doing that. Now that we have the space jump boots, we can do our first big step here. Jump into the lava, and that lets us just skip through having to go on that long part. You're supposed to use that tunnel on the side there. We don't care for that tunnel, because we want to go fast. Fast-ish. So, yeah. Other than that, these turns are going to be bothersome, so we're just going to quickly use that. Okay, what I just did there was sort of a weird trick. I believe the speedrun community calls that missile canceling. if you cancel the animation of you using the missile and then immediately press R quickly afterwards, you can kind of get into a rhythm where you can fire missiles slightly faster than normal. And in the original game, you could do this really fast to just really quick kill some bosses. It requires mashing both R and A at the same time-ish, though. Oh, by the way, there is an artifact in that room that we just passed. We are not getting it because we want to wait until we get the power bombs, because there's going to be a power bomb expansion. By the way, I'm pretty sure everybody already knows by now, yeah, we do have to find power bombs as well, and we have to find their expansions. In addition to enough missile expansions to get up to 250 missiles, yeah. That's a lot of missiles to remember. This game definitely has its fair share of missiles. I'm gonna use the boost ball to more quickly go through this room. This is like the speedrun way of moving around mostly. Okay, now we can go to a completely different area now we have the base jump boots. We couldn't go here before, but now we can, and that's where we're gonna get our next upgrade. We will out for save. This boss isn't missable, but his other side minions, or the minions you see beforehand, the ice parasites, are missable. And it's the last major missile we'll have for a while. Thankfully, some of the other ones are a bit more obvious if they're missables. There are a couple of unlockables that are really hard to miss, and I'll mention those later when they get in. But other than that, just scanning stuff as early as possible, really. There's a secret behind that wall, which we are not going to do. Oh, whatever, we'll just do this. Didn't know there was a wall there. I wonder if we could use missiles on that. I've never actually tried. Anyways, the first thing I'm going to do is try to jump on here and scan this ice parasite. Again, I said I'm not going to read all the scan dialogue. Again, feel free to just play for the game yourselves. Follow this route and then read the scans in your logbook if you choose to do so. It's the easiest way of doing that. Here's a funny strat. If you don't want to spend time to feed a Shigoff, you could just bash them down instead. Here's another thing. These random guys over here, you know, ice parasites. Yeah, you can just kill them with regular fire, too, so they're actually much weaker than the crystallites, which require missiles to take out. Even big beams still don't take them out. I think only flame... I think only specifically the plasma beam, which is much later on in the game, can take them out. Okay, next, we're gonna maybe shoot this face off the side of the wall there. Okay, that sounded a little weird. More like statue, I guess. And then we can just get ourselves through this gate, and this is where our boss is gonna be. And the moment we leave this area, and the moment we get the wave beam, these guys will be completely gone. So I checked by basically checking that. I'll check again after Shigoff, though. As you might have guessed, yeah, we have baby Shigoffs, so it's not going to be surprising to find out that our next boss, Shigoff, is our next fight. This fight it's kind of weird. Later on, when we take them out, we can use super missiles to get rid of them, and they'll be much less threatening, but for some reason, this boss is just one of the more frustrating bosses in the game, and again, it's not even a true boss fight, it's more like a big fight that later turns into another regular enemy a bit later. Oh, jeez, I cannot... I'm jump for my life, apparently. There we go. That was weird. Other than that, we need to go in here to actually trigger this fight, so we'll do that first. And then we have to fight some baby Shigoffs before we can actually get in here. The baby Shigoffs we'll just deal with the way we did normally. They're actually the few... They could actually be damaged by the beam, believe it or not, but the next to us and pretty much cannot be damaged, so we do need to be careful of that. We might get some collectibles during the battle as well. Another trick you could do, now we have the space jump boots, you can actually just jump over them and hit them as you're flying by. That's a strategy I use more often than not here. This is also a good place to get the locked door if you missed it as a scan previously, but we don't need to do that. We'll grab these missiles while we wait for Sheegoff to appear. And Sheegoff is the more terrifying threat. This one is basically just spam missiles and hope for its best. But if you get bored, you can just do this. Oh, hang on. You can just do this. And that damages him. For some reason, that damages him. So yeah, I think I'm gonna actually do that for a bit. I'll still do his breath occasionally, but yeah. Otherwise, you're just using missiles to take him out. Okay, well that worked pretty fine. Without that, we would have had to spam missiles very, very slowly. And I only just more recently discovered that our strategy from this point is to basically just spam bombs at him. It's one of the few enemies, actually, you can take out with bombs at all. Okay, he got us both upgrades in case we ever needed to do that. Of course, there's an obvious risk with that. You take quite a bit of damage while being around Sheegoff's belly, but in spam collectively, each bomb does about as much damage as the beam, but as you can see, it still takes a while because Sheegoff has a frick ton of health. We could also get him later if we miss him, so we're not too worried about missing him, but it's ideal that we don't miss him. And by the way, I believe the ice street bats are now almost gone. Well, actually, they don't disappear, I think, until you get the thermal visor, but once they are gone, like before, they are, again, gone for good. So, we have now. We're just checking to make sure we got the important ones. The ice parasite we got, that's most important, otherwise we'd have to reload our save. Then we did get Sheegoff as well. Those are the only ones I want to focus on, and yeah, now we have the wave beam, so yeah, now we can do lots of cool stuff with it. Fun fact though, despite it being cool, wave beam is actually a little bit weaker for firing than the base beam. However, we can just blow up these bomboos now, so we don't have to deal with them anymore. We can just keep blowing them up. Go ahead and do that a little bit in this room, so we don't have to deal with them later. Always nice. Take you out as well. I'm not going to do it on every single one of them. We could probably go just as fast using the ball, but it is an option now. Alright, now I think what we need to do is, because I did what I wanted to do, I will save the game. Metroid Prime, or just regular Metroid, you want to save often, because, of course, it also heals you. And it's very important to get all this done, because otherwise it could be really some. Okay, now we have to go all the way back to Ice Ruins List, where we'll find 2 secrets, actually 3, but otherwise we won't be getting anything else for a while. So now we can skip jump up here with the safe jump. Just make sure we have the ice shriek bat. That's the only time they're gonna be there. Once we've gotten the fertilizer, they will be completely gone. Anyways, we'll get this chiseler over here. Go ahead and pick up that. This dude up, and before we drop the stalactite down, we have to actually research this. This is also missable, but it's a lot of chances to get this. I'm just being extra sure. And yeah, I almost forgot, this is a research, so I guess there was one more missable research, but that research should be more easier to 100% now. Especially considering we got the missile station as a scan just recently. So normally you'd scan these guys like that and hope that you do it fast enough. I was not fast enough, and so I figured, oh, I'll come back for it later, then right and respawn. Okay. Probably not the smartest thing, but we're about to get an energy tank, so really our damage doesn't matter. Oh, there is another scan we can get. We're getting a lot of research stuff all of a sudden. But yeah, you can scan the spinner itself. Apparently my guide doesn't mention it, but yes, you can scan the spinner itself, which is scan. It's like the morph ball slots you can scan. You can scan those as well. Alright. Now we get to do a little bit of raising of the water a couple times. It's technically actually fastest to get this later when you have a specific upgrade. And specifically after you have the spider ball that you want to come back for this, but I don't like playing risky, especially when it's an energy tank that you miss by not doing this. So we're gonna have to do this part twice now. Once to get to the upgrade, and once to actually get once to actually get up top, and we will set a save as soon as we're up there, because it's actually one of the few times where if I mess a jump up, I will probably just it's probably just faster to reset and fame. That's another reason why I want a save option. In certain cases, it might be faster to just reset your game or quit and then come back in. You load back in, you'll be right where you left off, but not have to waste time doing it. Okay. I want to take out some of these bats before the second time. Oh wow, that was a really nice snipe actually. Okay, I wondered, there might be a way to skip that jump. I think we can't jump over there otherwise, so time to raise the water level a second time. So yeah, that's the only reason we have to do this twice, because we do it once to raise the thing up. Okay, we have 5 energy tanks, that is 100% correct. Now we go over here, go up this middle spot. We haven't saved yet, so if we mess up now, we will just have to redo the thing again. These are some pretty tight jumps. Like I said, you're never expected to not have the space jump boots here. Doing it without them requires a really big stuff, so this is probably the main part where you need the space jump boots for. Anyways, we gotta save now, so we're fine now. If I fall very much before that, I might have to just do something different. Here we go. Let's quickly bright this dude up. And then this guy will just kind of leap in from the side, and we'll be able to collect him. This is our first actual Shadow Pirate type of pirate data that is an enemy instead of a pirate data. We saw them before in the space vessel, but we couldn't actually get their logbook entries until this moment. So now we're able to pick those guys up. Alright, I'm just gonna check. I do remember getting the stalactite, and we just got those two. So yeah, we should be fine to move on to Research Core. This is another big part of the game. We'll probably be here for quite a bit. We already got this Adult Pirate, and we'll get the Space Pirate in literally just a minute. This is also the time where they recommend going for the locked door, because this is another place where you can just permanently collect it. And this is the spot I mentioned, where you can basically infinitely get the locked door as long as you go into a room that has these like sentry drones. You'll always be able to create a locked door infinitely. It could be possible that they might disappear later, but for now, I don't think that happens. So, yeah. Anyways, we got a locked door, so we don't need to worry about that. So instead, we're just going to get one scan entry, and that's the Space Pirate. The regular Space Pirate this time. And then from here, we're going to have to collect a lot of pirate data. And that's badge, by the way, of playing the Japanese version, or sending on the subtitles, by the way. We get to hear the defeat enemies to locked doors. That was also not in the original game. Again, you can choose to keep the game the way it was originally, or you could add in the cinematics. I think it does make the opening cinematic and ending a lot cooler to watch, though. It doesn't seem... Oh, yeah, and they also say the door's been locked, too, whenever that happens. Before we go up, though, there is the map station is over here. I almost said missile station for a second. We are going to find those, but not for quite a while. So we'll just go ahead and get this map station. We did get it right off the bat, to be fair, so I'm not too worried. I was just trying to check. Alright. This is our good place to have a lot of missiles for, because you're going to need to use a lot of them to take out these here turrets, as well as the space pirates, whatnot. If you're wondering why I'm scanning enemies multiple times, it's because I'm not used to doing this kind of run. I've actually only finished this one other time before me finishing on the Wii version, so still quite nervous going into it. So I like to just play it safe most of the time. Usually means checking the enemies multiple times. Oh yeah, okay, we didn't get it actually. Alright, well now we do have it for sure. By the way, it can be a little dangerous to use missiles here. Some of these tanks will later have a very particular enemy you'll probably be more familiar with. Alright, there's quite a few things to collect here. The main thing being pirate data. We have to scan these computers to get stuff. The computers that have yellow stuff, by the way, or orangish stuff, you'll never have to scan those. You don't need any data from there. It's only the red ones that you need to scan. It's also a lot more obvious because originally it was a lot more tricky. Anyways, there's a couple of skips we could do though. Yeah, I found out apparently you could stand on this pipe for some reason. It's not clear why, but okay, that does not give us a good jump point. But I was thinking is maybe I could jump on that. I guess it's from a different area that I could do that. But yeah, I remembered seeing the speedrun doing a lot of skips like that. That's why they want to get the space jump boots early, because they can even go up the rooms a lot quicker than they would normally. Also, by the way, if we shoot this with just the wave beam, instead of destroying itself immediately, it'll kind of go crazy all over the place with just shooting rapidly before it eventually just destroys itself. Just kind of hilarious to watch in retrospect. And it also bypasses its damage, so later that'll be a great place to... Because eventually we'll find an upgraded version of that auto turret. And Wave Beam is actually the best way to deal with it without using missiles. Otherwise, you'll be using super missiles to take out those. I'm just going to do this the easy way. Take them out with missiles. There's only 2 of them anyway, so it's not like that's a big deal. You can disable some of the either, but right now we're not doing that. Okay, I did count. There's 5 data exactly in that room we passed before, Research Lab 100. That's where most of the... Usually these research labs are where most of the data is being held for the pirate data. We need to take out these enemies first, though. Seems easy a charge shot, and then 1 missile is usually enough to take care of them, so that's good to hear. We'll go ahead and scan this first, so we start this up. That way I could use the time to catch up with my guide. So there's 2 more pirate data in the observatory. The Fate actually says there's other pirate data in the observatory. That's not correct. There's actually 2 research we can find here. Believe it or not, this area also has research data to put into your logbook. That's pretty important. Alright. Alright. I think I'm paranoid enough now. I don't need to do that multiple times, but that's fine. We'll get 2 upgrades here, though. The first one is probably more important. The second one is like, well, it's required, but not really. Probably important, yeah, but if you know where to jump, you probably don't need it. Pretty sure you guys will know what I mean when you come up to it. I'm gonna wait a bit, though, in case you guys don't know what it is. In case you're seeing this playthrough for the first time. Or rather, this game for the first time. Alright. So, hitting those 2 bombs gets that up. Then we need to just lower these with our spinner. Or boost ball, rather. And then we get these planet stuff. This is actually a really cool part. Also, I forgot to read Sheegoth, but honestly, it's just a normal monster. I don't care enough about it to read the bus. Like I said, it was kind of on and off. Alright, this I will read. Planet Talon 4, Mass 5 terms. Profile. Ecosystem studies indicate that Talon 4 was a logical paradise prior to the impact of an extraterrestrial object. What remains of the biosphere slowly fade away due to cellular or phase-on radiation. At current rate, Talon Baron Class 13 raceman in approximately 25 years. Which basically means it's going to be destroyed. Alright, Zeebs, Mass 48 trillion. This will be familiar if anyone's played Super Metroid. Planet's crust is primary earthic, making it ideal for subterranean construction. In Class 15-16 planet, Zeebs is inhospitable to most bioforms. The world was considered remarkable until it became a base for space pirate forces. So that's where the space pirates came from, basically. And then this is Planet Twin Tabula. 41 trillions, or whatever. Planet is best known for twin fever, a disease caused by a viral strain native to Twin Tabula. In the early stages of the disease, victims suffer from dull vision. When twin sight fades, the victim is near death. One thing I like about the remake, it tells you which one you scanned by putting logos by it, so you know not to scan it again. This is Dormy 2. Mess. 2.3 trillion trilitons. An uninhabitable wasteland savaged by nuclear dust storms and constant seismic upheavals. Nobody can know on that, clearly. Billium. Yes. 3.8 trillion teratons. Quarantine. Atmosphere is rife with Meteorus, a sentient gaseous global exterminator virus. I don't know why, but something tells me one of those planets is probably where we're going to go in Metroid Prime 4. I haven't actually checked enough in the guide to know, and I'm not going to ask about it because I want to find out for myself where I go. So, hopefully that's on that, because that would be bad. Before we go to save, however, there's a save point before there, but go to save, we should get our upgrade, which is the super missiles. I like how you get it this early, and this ends up being like the best upgrade to use on almost everything, even in the late game. There's, I think, one area where it can't be useful, but otherwise it's really nice. Oh, hang on, this is the wrong way. This is not the save part I wanted. We will need to... I tried to snipe that. Okay. Hit it the second time there. But yeah, so... we actually only need to scan 2 planets. Oh, wait. I did say I would at least check the bosses. Okay, you know what? Before anybody yells at me, I'll go ahead and check now. So is what, Shigoff we need? Supreme Predator of Fronon Drift. Involve all the most B ones. The crystal on the back absorb energy, which they can fire by Shigoffs that force down. They hyperventilate after using a breath tap, make their mouth area vulnerable. Their soft underbelly is also susceptible to battle, they expel blasts of physical gas or steroid targets. They're also fond of ramming and trampoline their hapless prey. Basically, or you don't use beams against them, or you'll get destroyed. Since we have the Shigoff, we know we collected the other items, so we can move on now. The Pirate Day is kind of tough to track, by the way, so our only way of really knowing when that's done is if has the correct number of entries. We'll still show what I got. If I happen to miss one, please do let me know, but otherwise, I'll probably end up getting all the stuff eventually. Right now, I'm trying to play it safe, though. Make sure we grab that. Alright, so our next scan, there's a couple of enemies. But first, we need to go in here. This is another good chance to get the lock door. Alright, after taking out those fills, we have to deal with the next enemy. Probably one of my least favorite enemies in the whole game. Better known as the evasive pirate. Sometimes better known as the flying pirate. These guys are really annoying. They're the first enemy that really likes to evade your attacks a lot. Best way to take them out is just keep super missiling them over and over until they're all gone. So that's what I'll be doing here. What's really funny is as you can see, now I'm using regular shots. This is what's supposed to happen when you take them out. They kind of do a dive flash attack, but if you use super missiles, they just blow up immediately instead, so it's kind of a weakness that you can exploit. It also is easier to hit them. Note, there is an artifact here, and we get it by going here, but you need the plasma beam in order to melt that ice, unfortunately. So we simply cannot get that until later, unfortunately. But yeah, we got that flying pirate scan. There are so many of those guys everywhere that we'll have a chance to scan it pretty much anywhere once we find out about them. And then, yeah, get ready to meet a fan favorite enemy, the Metroids. Yep, they're here, and apparently this is actually one creature we cannot skip the scan for. Either you missile it or you scan it, one of the two. I'm gonna do the obvious option, which is we need to scan it. We even get thrown right into scan visor. And apparently the effects of Phazon turn these Metroids to the species of the elephant predator. So these are, it's about different. How many missiles do they take? I forgot. Yeah, about 5. Okay, so this is our enemy you'll probably want to take out with super missiles. Showed you could do it with other things besides missiles. Anyways. I tried instinctively trying to fire my upgraded version of this. Believe it or not, the other weapon types will also get an upgrade for the super missiles. They are basically like the super powered weapons of this game. But the later ones use a lot more missiles than normal. And that's the main reason why you would even want to have a lot of missiles. Also, for some reason, this is a fire data. Don't ask me why. That one's really easy to miss. Because usually they're on the bottom. But for some reason, that one's on the top. This one is split, also has 5 fire data, but it's split into 3 sections. The top section we were just at, the middle section I just collected no more than a few minutes ago. And other stuff. Also, now that we've found the Metroids, there's now a risk where if we use the missiles just on, we can end up breaking one of the cases, and some of these containers have Metroids in them, so you don't want to break those out ever. So that's an extra enemy you have to fight. Very easy to do on accident if you're just targeting around randomly. Speak of which, here's another one. Alright, now we just need to get the remaining pirate data. There's 2 in total. One on either side of this area. Actually, make that 2 here, because there's no other side. There we go. We got our pirate data up. This area may as well be called the holder of all the pirate data, because it seems like about 50% of it, which is a lot, is found just in this one area. So it's basically the main base for the which I guess makes sense. Okay, alright, so we already got one of the secrets, which was this here. Energy tank. But now we need to actually go in and do other stuff. This is the area I mentioned where I kind of found a trick for. But it was mostly a backup in case I, like, fall down or something. This is another annoying section. This one's way harder because there's no walls whatsoever. Tricky part is, because we have 3D moving, it can be really hard to time an optimal move to get this done fast, so I usually just do it a bit at a time. I'm not in a rush. There is no super good ending for speeding through the game. Oh yeah, I forgot, there's an Ice Beetle variant. I don't think this enemy actually appears very often either. I think it can reappear, it just might be very uncommon. For some reason, it really likes hiding from you over and over again. Don't know why. And we get some more of these flying pirates to show up eventually. Caught him before he could even fly up. Imagine having these rockets and then just seeing this bounty hunter come up and blow you out like nothing. It's like, actually, your rockets are your weakness. Okay, as tempting as it looks, there's actually not a single entry for our scanning. In fact, we don't even get the next scan entry till much later, so we'll just go through this instead. One thing we will have to deal with, though, is Metroids, and yes, this place does have a big skip. If you jump down this middle part, you can skip going for some of the areas. You can also do this while the pirates are still attacking you. But it's not advised to do that unless you're a speedrunner and know where to go to avoid them. Because The slice actually does deal you quite a bit of damage. There we go. Fight those early, because they will not respawn. Unlike the next enemies that are about to appear. Yes, there will be more enemies that appear whenever we go in. So, we just got the thermal visor. Apparently, we also turned off the supply area and also turned off the power source, so it's going to be really hard to find stuff now. Not only that, but the Metroids are now starting to break out. Okay, he dodged that. Not good. I'm not sure if these are the Shadow Pirates or regular pirates. I'm gonna check. Yeah, they're Shadow. That's what I thought. These guys will now be invisible for a lot of time now that we have the thermal visor, so the only way to find them is to have the thermal visor equipped, which means you get to see a lot of this. Hope you guys don't mind your eyes taking a little bit of a sword, because you're going to see this for quite a bit. In the original Metroid Prime, there would also be extra exclamation points around here. They kind of turned down a lot of that, though, and made it a little bit more bearable. It's just as scary as you would expect. There is a parcel skip for this area. You don't even have to take out the Metroids. We're just doing it because it's quite a ways to go. Okay, these are only other enemy to deal with. And he says that they're vulnerable to electrical attacks. So our best way to take them out is to take them out using missiles. Okay. Getting plenty of chances to find those guys, though. It's from the bottom, I see. We're mainly gonna focus on taking out the pirates, because they're a lot more threatening than the turrets. If you could just ignore one. Again, I hope you eyes don't get a little bit sore from watching this, but that's kind of what we have to deal with here. By the way, we don't have to fight these pirates anymore for a pretty long while, so we're just gonna skip them. Be skipping this area too, but this is already a pretty quick area to go through normally. And then in the observatory, we don't want to save necessarily until we're out of the place. Instead, we'll kind of drop down from the side here. We should probably put on thermal visor so we can actually see where the flipper's supposed to go. There's a spot to just drop right in on it. I wasn't looking properly, so I didn't see where to go there. It's on me. Okay, yeah, we definitely got the sentry drone. So you can take these guys out with missiles like you do the other enemies. They'll explode if that happens. Other than that, more of this. You might have noticed this area has like that glow like the upgrade. Well, that's because it does have an upgrade. A missile ascension. Like how we went for this whole area and didn't even find a single missile ascension until much later. Okay, now we need to go back into this quickly so we can some of these shadow pirates. You can actually just jump down here though, otherwise. I believe this is where we need to go, so we're gonna go around to the right. I'll sprint on out of there. I do have an extra energy tank now, so we're getting even more healthy now. Okay, one thing we are going to do, just so we don't have to forget to do it later, is farm some missiles early. Because the next boss is going to require a lot of missiles to take out safely. You could potentially get more than this, but it's fine by me. Oh wait, also, yeah, we have to use this thermal visor thing, but just to prove your point, you don't need to actually use the thermal visor on these. If you know they require power, you could just shoot them with the wave beam where you think they are, and yeah, you can just reveal it that way. It's nice and easy. That's the reason why you wouldn't need to actually pick up the thermal visor. But we had to go in there anyways to get the air missiles, so there's no point in not collecting both items. Hence, you must use the super missiles to get to farthest anyways. It's redundant to not also go and grab the thermal visor. You can skip it though and just go back early to get so that kind of changes the way you do the room, but yeah, you can do that. The only problem is in this run you'll miss the sentry drone if you do that. Alright. As you might have noticed, why I'm back here early, well, not only did I need to save, but yeah, it's that time to end the episode time, which means it's time to look back at the logbook. We're going to look through the pirate data this time, because we did just get a whole ton of stuff. As you can see, we got about over 50% of the pirate entries now. And it's going to be more whenever we go back to Phase on Mines later on. And then send Phase on Mines where we're going to ultimately get that completely finished up. Our scan is now up to a whopping 65% thanks to that. We also got the our first artifact. And we got a good amount of these too. There's a good amount of them missing, but at least we got the ones that would be easy to miss otherwise. Most of them are just secretive, like to do some of the secrets in order to find them. And then we have all the enemies. Oh, I think I did not look at it. Let's do this slowly like we do normally. So these are all the enemies we have. They make up a good majority of the area though. We won't check artifacts, or we'll just briefly check them because we only have the one. You can actually look at this central thing in the middle. That tells you how many artifacts you have. The orange ones are the ones we have. So we just have the first one from before. You don't need to get that one until the very end, but I like to do it then. Just because it's easier. If you do that as your last artifact, funnily enough, you'll skip the cutscene when you cutscene because it'll get overwritten by the meta-riddly cutscene instead, because the game will realize, oh, you have all the artifacts, time to fight the big boss, I guess. So that's a funny thing if you decide to get that last. Normally that's the first artifact you get. Of course, we got it first just so we don't have to worry about it. That way we know that we got it. Oh yeah, we got Talon Metroid as well. And then, I guess before we go, we do need to check the ice families here. By ice family, I mean all the ice enemies. Ice Beetle, Ice Burrower, Ice Shriekbat, Ice Parasite, and that's it. Alright. So that should be most of the missable enemies for now. There's still a couple enemies that, if you miss, they'll be hidden. But from here, it'll mostly be bosses we have to scan. And other unique enemies. So, yeah. Oh, I forgot. We need to check our research. So we'll do that as well. We got the spinner recently here. And, of course, the stalactite. That is also messable. And then, of course, Zebes, Intel, and 4, which are also researched. So now we just have the Furore researches to go, being the missile energy and never being a drop, and then the later ones being not accessible until we get certain upgrades. And then the artifact, we just have the one. We did not scan anything because we're trying to go faster here. And then, just because I get paranoid, we're going to save again. Perfect. Alright. On that note, I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Comment, rate, subscribe if you've been enjoying this playthrough so far. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.